All right, looks like we've got a handful of folks that are able to show up today on this holiday week. So we'll go straight into it. I'll start with introductions. Dylan introduced us a little bit there. My name is Randy Hurtado, and not only am I a partner in the company roofingreferrals.com, which is a subsidiary of Contractor Authority, but I also own DT Roofing along with several other home services companies. The revenue that was referenced in the intro, that 30 million last year, 23 of it was with our residential roofing company. And of that, approximately 8.5 million of it was directly related to insurance agents, property managers, and real estate agents. And real estate agents. And so some really, sometimes the best way to get people's attention when you're talking about a solution is to share the things that they care the most about. And since most of the people on the line are either the owner of the company or in the chain where this type of stuff matters, let me share some real numbers with you. So up until now, obviously, we've been sharing our 23 numbers, and those numbers are actually what caused Ryan and I to kick off this solution and offer it to my colleagues in the roofing industry. And that is actually a mindset, looking at all of you, including some of you that are in my region as a colleague instead of a competitor, is an entire mind shift. My philosophy has always been, you're not my competitor. My competition is my willingness to work harder than you. And if you have that same mindset, then you tend to be able to lean into colleagues in the industry, hit them up, ask them questions. Hey, how are you doing this? I know I certainly did that when we were first growing, and I still do. I reach out to folks that have even done less revenue to say, hey, that's a really unique approach. What are you guys doing? And being willing to pour into other people definitely comes back many times. So let me share some current revenue because obviously I don't want to live off of 2023. That year's come and gone. So as of today, year to date with DT Roofing, we're sitting at right at $16 million. And this is all on the residential roofing side. We're not counting any of our commercial roofing, our construction company, our garage door and service company. This is purely DT Roofing. Of that revenue, 85% of that revenue came from relationship-based leads. And so that includes things like self-generated leads when salesmen are out there door knocking and creating those opportunities for themselves, client referrals, people, which we'll talk a little bit about how our solution helps with those, and professional referrals, just to give them a few examples. This doesn't include our billboards. It doesn't include our truck wraps, our SEO, our Google guarantee leads, any of that. That makes up the 15%. And then out of the total 16 million, 21% of that dealt specifically with the area that our solution at roofingreferrals.com addresses, and that is with insurance agents, realtors, and property managers. And those are real numbers. 6.5 million of that 16 million was achieved in June alone. And the same percentages within a couple of percent apply to June. So it's tracking. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that roofingreferrals.com is. We clearly have made the case for why it would be important to build a referral network and to build relationships. So this program was a culmination of what is successful at my roofing company. And truth be told, I started doing it this way specifically because I was ignorant to the roofing industry. I came from IT security software, and I knew nothing about the roofing or construction world. So when I got into this world as a salesperson, I only knew how to do it the way I've always done it and how I was successful in my last endeavor, which was 24 years of IT security software. I worked with Halliburton, the Pentagon, all the Fortune 50s. And the way that you're successful in those companies in that industry is through relationships, getting on LinkedIn, reaching out to the right titles, asking for a phone call, whatever the case may be. So that's how I started my roofing sales career. I didn't know about door knocking. I didn't know about any of the other stuff. I said, let me go reach out to people who need my services in order for them to be successful. And I fell upon insurance agents, property managers, and real estate agents. And I was so successful at that in sales that the owner of DT Roofing was willing to give me half the company to help him grow the company to what it is today. When I first started, and I give God all the glory for our success. This isn't about Randy. This is about sharing with you our story and what I was able to do through the gifts I've been given to achieve these items. But so Derek, my partner, he was all about say, yeah, let's partner up and grow this thing. When I started with the company, we were a $1.8 million a year company. So if that resonates with anybody on this call, just remember that was only a few, like 7 years ago. And this year, company wide, we'll do over $40 million in revenue. Of that, 30 million plus will be residential roofing. Last year we did 23. We're already on track. If we just double what we've done already this year, we'll do 32. I tend to be a little bit more conservative on my forecasting. And so I say 30. We'll probably blow that out of the water, but a lot of that has to do with relationship building. And relationships are what happen, are what you do when the storms aren't here yet, right? Because when folks want to say, well, I had one guy, I had made a post and I said, if you want to know how our company, and this was like last month when we did 3.3 million in sales, if you want to understand how our company did 3.3 million dollars in sales using our program, hit me up. And a guy cynically wrote, well, having a storm in your area probably helped as well. And he's absolutely right. There's no qualms about that. But I didn't have any competitors in my area doing a $3 million a month. And the reason that is because prior to the storm, we had already done all of the footwork to build our relationships. So when the storm happened, all those leads came flooding in. That's how a residential roofing company in a small town of 50,000 people can pull in $6.5 million in a month. Is everybody's just coming to us. We're not even going out there and door knocking. That's going to happen in like the fall when things start to slow down. But right out of the gate, when the storm happened, boom, everybody's, hey, my aunt, my uncle, realtors that are sending us stuff for, their own sales purpose are sending us their aunt's house and their mom's house. So relationships with those folks go beyond just the professional side, but also personally, they ask for us to go and look at roofs as well. And so the program that we've generated is a culmination of giving you a comprehensive list of all of the real estate agents, insurance agents, and property managers within your region of your company. And this helps with retail markets as well. So this isn't just a storm solution. I just happen to be in a storm market. It's a culmination of a web application that is logoed with your company so that it's unique to your company, which gives not only the professionals a place to go to request their inspections, but also homeowners. And this is huge because when you incentivize a homeowner to send you a referral and the storm hits, guess what happens? Everybody's sending you referrals because you're paying them to do so. And so Ryan will demonstrate all of this shortly. I just want to get up front so you guys kind of understand the layout of it. So, and then the other portion of this is a classroom setting where I go over a 13 video series. They're only about 3 minutes a piece or what have you, but it deals with objections. It deals with the approach, how you get in front of insurance agents, how do you get in front of real estate agents and property managers, why they need you. And I'll give you a little hint. It's not all about me. I'm not going in there and going, if you need a roofer, here's my card, here's a dozen cookies, no. That's the old school way. And all they're doing is eating your cookies and throwing your business cards in the trash. We're giving actual value-based reasons why they want to call us initially. And then after they've dealt with us, they're calling us all the time. We are their guy. Because not only are we providing them a value and turning it around, but they're not taking, in some cases, like with insurance agents, they're not taking on unnecessary risk, which is a huge savings, right? with real estate agents, we're helping that deal get across the finish line, which means commissions for them. See, we're offering them something. We're not just saying, hey, send me your business when you have roofing needs. So, Ryan, is there anything specifically that you wanted me to cover outside of, the main topic of roofingreferrals.com outside of what I've already talked about?
Just quickly and not going for like real in depth, is just what those value-based relationships for those three industries look like. And then that's where I can kind of dive in to share, everything else that we provide.
Sure. So without getting too deep into the classroom setting portion of it, with real estate agents, like I mentioned, getting in front of them, getting in front of their groups and giving the value-based statement as to why us, why do you want to deal with us? And then getting them to not only to either download your app, which like I said, is part of our program is designed for you, or getting them your phone number. The main goal is get them to contact you every time they need roofing. No more of this roofing roulette that they do where they call on 5 different roofers and whoever answers the phone first, and maybe the guy will get back to me and all that. They're tired of that. And so it's refreshing when they build a relationship with a company. And not only are you getting out there and prioritizing their job because they know that, option period's up on Wednesday and they need to hear back from you right away in the form of a report. But that you're prioritizing them. With insurance agents, we're not just going in there and saying, hey, we're a roofer. We're talking about, hey, how many times have you written a policy and 3 months later somebody's filing a claim from that pea-sized hailstorm that came through, and dang well the damage they have on their roof isn't from that storm. It was likely already on the roof, but because your process doesn't include going out and actually looking at the house first, you just blindly write a policy. Now you're buying a new $20,000 roof. And that resonates with them, right? And so we don't make us part of your process, and we'll go out and inspect the roofs for you. And if the roofs are damaged, we're going to work with their current insurance company to get that roof replaced, and then deliver them back to you with a nice red bow with a brand new roof.
All right. So what I'd like to do, Randy, for the guys listening to this, I mean, you just went over some strategy there. So can you kind of walk guys through what you do? Like, what does it look like you walk in? I know you're not going to go through your whole training program here, but can you just walk through what does it look like when you walk in? Who do you ask for? What is the specific wording you use? Because it's all very nuanced.
Right. And there's a reason behind that. Obviously, there's a lot of detail that goes into the training itself. But in regards to, for example, the insurance agent example, that is literally the pitch that we go into. Obviously, letting them know that we deal with a lot, and this will resonate with a lot of folks on the call. We deal with a lot of customers who are dissatisfied with their insurance company when they go through the claims process. And we would love to point those customers in your direction when they need new insurance after this claim is closed. Now their ears go up. So there's a lot of different value added ways that you can build that relationship outside of just offering a solution for not writing risk-based policies. With insurance or with real estate agents, you don't really have to incentivize them any more than just, we will help you get that deal across the board, across the finish line, so that they're not having to give up commission on negotiations on the back end because there was a bunch of things that were found, quote unquote found. We encourage them to get us involved early and often. If they're the selling agent, we're out there before the roof is, or the house is even put on the market, so that we can address any roofing issues. And if the roof does need to be replaced, they can update the listing with brand new roof. A recent study from Zillow came out that stated that out of all homes that are put on the market, 50%, up to about 50% of the roofs need to either be replaced or repaired. And so that is a lot of opportunity for roofing companies to partner with real estate agencies so that they're the ones up on those roofs. I like to share the story about the time, and this is again when I was in sales, where I made $1,000 in a week off of a tube of caulk. Right? Because I did an inspection for 3 different realtors, 2 of them for one realtor, and all 4 of the roofs just needed roofing maintenance done. Well, our minimum fee for roofing maintenance, which was just to caulk all the nail heads, and this is a nugget for anybody out there that is in sales or has sales guys, was $250. Like, that's what our minimum was, is $250. Went out to my truck, grabbed my caulk gun, went and sealed all the nail heads, made sure everything was good. Did that 4 times in a week. Didn't even get through that tube of caulk. And so providing a value at a time where they're expecting to hear the roof needs to be replaced. And you're like, nope, just needs to be maintenance. There's no reason why you shouldn't be making revenue on every single real estate roof that you inspect, because they're happy to hear it's only going to be $250. Now, obviously be honest. If the roof is in perfect condition, say so, and be happy to say so, because they don't always want to hear doom and gloom, but they don't consider a minor repair or some maintenance doom and gloom. You know, if you say, yeah, the whole thing's trashed, oh, I was hoping you didn't say that, but what do we do from here? And then you walk them through the process. But the relationship and being in front of them on a frequent basis, and again, we go over all this through our class and our process, is very important. And then with property managers have one responsibility, and that is to maintain the properties for the customers that have hired them to do so. And so in understanding that, our approach to them is that we will go out and inspect the roofs for all properties that they manage once a quarter, and then provide them a comprehensive roofer report that tells them the status of those roofs. Well, naturally, repairs are going to come from that. Sometimes replacements. And in fact, just recently, one of my guys got 10 roofs from one property manager because he hooked up with that property manager, and the guy said, okay, great. Well, here's a list of 12 of the properties that I manage, and it's on the side of town last year that was hit with hail. Let me know what you find. 10 of them had hail damage. So we were not only able to get all 10 of those roofs and replace them and upgrade the customers to class 4, but that property manager, because we pay $250 for every roof that has to be replaced that they send us, he made $2,500. And so there's that relationship with them where they know they're not only going to make some money off of anything if we find a replacement, but they're able to put a report every quarter into the file of their customers' folders, so that they look like they're doing their job. Like they have somebody going up there and doing a comprehensive look of that roof every single quarter, and they look like, you know, they're relevant in that regard. So not all referrals require you to give something, but some of them do. And property managers in our situation are probably the ones that are the hardest without giving them a referral fee. Homeowners are the next one, probably the next most expensive, but totally worth it, right? Because we've given them in our apps, we've given them the ability to submit their neighbors as referrals. And then if we see that through, we can send them their gift card right through the app. And so during a storm, that's again, for those of you that joined late, you know, last month when we threw out, $6.5 million in residential roofing revenue, that was a culmination of people calling us and saying, hey, come and look at my roof. And also you wouldn't believe how many roofs we had just finished in the last couple of months that got hammered by that storm. And so those same customers were not only saying, come out and take a look at my roof, I'm sure it got damaged, but because they knew we had a referral program, because our sales folks did their job in letting them know and asking for those referrals, they got a ton of referrals from neighbors, and we'll be paying those customers for all the referrals that turned into replacements. And so if you are missing a referral-based program within your organization, we have created it for you, and it's stupid inexpensive to implement. The way that Ryan and I have priced this program is so that it's a volume play for us. There's 80,000 roofers in America. And so, but our goal is to help. I love nothing more than when I have a customer either text me or call me or see me at a trade show and be like, man, your program's smashing it for me. We just Good News Roofing out of Austin. They shared a story just a couple of weeks ago where they went in and built relationships with 2 different insurance agents. And they were sharing with us the number of leads that they've already received from them and how many of those turned into actual roofs. And it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so it's like a no-brainer. A lot of these companies, this isn't rocket science, guys, but it is something that most companies are missing. And that is a comprehensive referral program. I'm honored to see somebody like John Abernathy on this, by the way. I definitely look up to John. So, and I'm sure several of the things that I state, being that John has not only run a successful company, but I believe exited one, that a lot of what we're doing are tenets of his successful company as well. But so our program is basically, it just provides all the tools. And Ryan, you're welcome to pull it up on the screen just to kind of do a cursory overview, a summary of what it is that we provide. And then at the end of this, we'll offer an opportunity for folks that would like to see a full demo of the solution to go ahead and get signed up for that.
Everyone can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you for everybody's time. So just kind of diving into what we provide very quickly. So the most important part is the educational experience. As Randy was talking about, is understanding the pain points of each one of those industries, from real estate, insurance, and property management. So what we have is a 13-module video course, and then also a private community that we're releasing to our past clients on Monday for the private community. We're using a Facebook group before that. But getting into it, so basically, when you have your sales reps coming into it, they're going to have access to the learning aspect to be able to get into all those video courses. So as you guys are growing by implementing this, super easy to plug in your existing sales reps to be able to view that course and system, as well as the ongoing educational experience. They're able to post, any questions here. Where both Randy and myself are going to be very active in making sure that we're providing the ongoing educational experience. So going into, the next part is basically the web app. Kind of give you a feel of what that looks like. This is our most recent client that we launched. So a web app works very similar to an application, to where it's able to be downloaded and placed onto any mobile device as well as desktop. So it's a responsive design that looks really nice, and then goes into basically the different industries to be able to encourage them to sign up. So, as Randy was talking about before, by understanding those pain points of the real estate professional and getting them to sign up, that's where they're going to have their own login credentials to be able to get into your web app. So instead of them having to give you a call or to try to get a hold of the sales rep, what they're able to do is come directly into the web app, be able to do a request roof evaluation. And basically, it's a very simple form. It's just providing their client's information. What that does is that immediately text and emails the assigned sales rep that their referral partner has placed a referral that needs to get a roof evaluation. And so what that looks like is basically all of your sales reps will have their own login credentials as well. Kind of just breaks down very easily, just a total request, pending evaluation, evaluation completed, customer. And then when a customer becomes it, you're able to send a gift card that you're able to send, set the price that you would like to send to them. So, our sweet spot is when a full roof replacement comes through, is sending a $250 gift card to them. Kind of again, just to stress, so it's really easy to be able to add this icon either to desktop or mobile devices. So that makes it a little easier, instead of them having to play, phone tag of trying to give you guys a call. Their sales rep is maybe busy. It allows them to be able to say, okay, I know I'm booking an evaluation directly through the web app. They're going to get notified, and you guys are going to get out there as fast as possible to be able to do that for them. So going into what that looks like for the entries part. So this is the requested evaluations coming through. So me as the sales rep, I'm able to easily click perform evaluation. And what that does is it basically brings in their client's information of the property. So that's where the sales rep will be reaching out to them by phone call. Hey, what's the best day and time for me to show up? That's where, you get to the property and be able to do the roof evaluation directly on your web app. It's where you're capturing basically all the important information about that property, such as residential, asphalt shingle, etc. But getting down to the cool part is we have the evaluation part. So, ideally, as Randy was talking about before, was Zillow, 50% of those real estate transactions or listings are going to need some type of service. So ideally, we are getting on an older roof that needs roof replacement. That's where the sales rep is going to be adding as much detail as possible about what they're seeing. And then the really cool feature is we have the ability to do a kind of like a recorded roofie selfie video. So obviously, when the sales rep is safe up on the roof, that's where they're able to do a short little video for the homeowner, basically showing what they're seeing up there. And so what we found is by including video and images, it just really helps build that trust factor for the homeowner to actually visually be able to see it, versus kind of just taking the sales rep's word of, here's what I'm seeing. So when they get done with that and do the submit evaluation, what that does is that puts that all together in a really nice PDF and sends it to the partner and then to their client as well. If it's a homeowner that's providing a referral, then that's not necessarily needed. That's just going directly to their referral person. But that's where the evaluation is easily accessible right in here. And we get out of mobile real quick. So this aspect, when you click view evaluation, what that does is it basically brings up a PDF that captures all that information. Again, everything's fully branded to your company. That's where here, when you're establishing that you've found some type of damage or needs the roof to replace, that you're then getting into your existing sales process past that point. So it's a really just simple tool of being able to streamline the communications with your B2B partners, being able to provide a professional evaluation report for each one of those different type of industries, as well as the homeowner referrals for that standpoint. And then kind of just going into the last few things that we provide. So we have a branded referral partnership flyers. So basically that's, again, branded with your company's logo. Talks about those pain points and how to easily sign up for the web app with a QR code. So this is where when your sales reps are getting in front of those real estate professionals or any of those other type of professionals, just have something professional to be able to hand to them that kind of allows them to easily get into the web app and create an account. And then we also do an onboarding video call with Randy that's more of a one-on-one type experience for our yearly subscription plan. So going into that, as Randy was really stressing, we try to make this as affordable as possible, where we have a monthly plan at only $279 per month. And then yearly, basically, you're getting 2 months free with the onboarding call with Randy as well. And then, of course, with the limitless members, we're doing the 10% discount, which will provide those codes after this as well. Roofingreferrals.com. Randy, is there anything you kind of wanted to add? Because that was a pretty simple, clear, and fast walkthrough. I didn't want to take too much time for everybody here.
Absolutely. And if anyone's interested in seeing a demonstration of this, Ryan, where can they go?
Yeah, so just go to roofingreferrals.com/demo. Basically, we have a calendar here. It's where you can book the best day and time, and that's where I can really dive in further of just more details of how the web app works, and more detail of answering any questions that you guys do have from that standpoint. And then also can show you just kind of some of the video courses for you to guys get a feel of that as well.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you doing that. Ryan has been, so Ryan, this all came about because Ryan actually interviewed me in a podcast 18 months ago. And one of the questions that he asked when he was interviewing me over our company was, what are some of the ways that you guys drive leads that are non-traditional? And when I gave him my answer, he hit me up after the podcast and said, almost nobody's doing this, right? And I said, no, I didn't know any different. Like, this is how we've always done business. And so then we started talking about a deliverable for our colleagues in the industry. And this is the culmination of that. This is a V2 of it. We've made a lot of changes to it and only to improve it. Fortunately, Ryan is very technically savvy and I came from the technical world. So coming up with a solution that is easy to implement, easy to understand. It's one of those programs where as long as you do it, it's going to work. It's a no-brainer. This isn't a conceptual solution where we came up with something cool and flashy and we're hoping that it works for people. We're a living example of it. This is our company's program right here. This is what we do. And I have 15 sales guys that are out there. The reason why we have 15 and not 10 is because I have so many guys that are so focused on building their own relationships. They don't, Ryan alluded to this earlier, or Dylan did, that they don't want to deal with company generated leads. When that billboard lead comes in and the person's like, I have a leaky roof, like, I don't want to deal with that guy. I already have all these realtors contacting me to go look at their roofs. I have these insurance agents. I already have, and in my company, and like most, we pay more for self-generated leads than we do company generated leads, because those company generated leads cost me money, right? So I don't pay as high. So I have to add new salesmen to take the company generated leads. Then they're trained on this program, and then they end up in the same boat as the guys that I had to replace. And so it's a great problem to have, but we're increasing our sales team constantly because guys are figuring out, like, it's better to spend more time building my own secret sales force and getting paid a higher commission on those jobs than to deal with the company generated leads that are generated just out of us being DT Roofing, having 25 trucks on the road, total billboards and what have you. That's naturally going to drive business, SEO and Google guarantee. But so it's a good problem to have, but this program works if you implement for the relationship side. And Dylan, that's really much all we had to go over. It's a very compelling reason, but I would say reach out if you want to add referrals as a lead source to your company, because you're expected to see between 20 and 30% increase in revenue by doing this correctly. And that's just out of the gate. Over time, as I shared on the opening slide, from the beginning of the year and even our largest month this year, which was last month at 6.5 million, the relationship related leads make up for 85% of our revenue. And that is not the norm. If some of you have been in business a long time, including the likes of Abernathy, know that, but that is a fact. Like, those are all, we keep that information tracked so that we know internally. Most organizations expect about 50% of their leads to come from self-generated opportunities, and then the company makes up the other 50%, and we're at a resounding 85 this year so far. And so we'd love for that to continue. We love paying our guys more for those, but they're using our program to do that. So don't really have anything else, Dylan. I know this was an hour, so I know we have quite a number of people on the call, either on video or just on the call. If you think it makes sense to open it up for any basic questions, maybe we can take like 5 questions with the remaining time. And then anyone else that's interested, if your questions weren't answered, you can set a demo up at roofingreferrals.com/demo and get a own personal demo, or you can ask as many questions as you would like. Sound like a plan, Dylan?
Yeah, and for those of you on here, we do have a few minutes left, so let's ask any questions that you have. A question that is in my mind is, okay, you've got the system, you've got the software. If I work with you guys, you're going to train me, but I'm still wondering what specifically, what does it look like when I'm going to walk into an insurance agent's office? Then what? I mean, I meet the receptionist. Do I have a card in my hand? Do I like get specific on what does that look like? Who do you ask for? Just to give people some idea of exactly what we're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you who you ask for. I've alluded a little bit to what the messaging is with insurance agents, and then I'll push back a little bit and say the rest of it is part of the program. But who you ask for is, you don't walk in and say, hi, my name is Randy the roofer and I have business cards and 12, a dozen cookies. You ask who writes policies for your office. because what's the person at the desk, the gatekeeper, going to hear? Oh, this guy wants to get a policy, right? So they're going to get you access to the right person. And now you have your questions that you ask them. I alluded to some of them earlier about writing risk-based policies and things like that. Most of the time, insurance agents do that because they don't know the status of the roof. They just hope that the person information that they gave, oh, my roof's 5 years old, really it's 10. We've all gone on that roof where somebody told us it was, 3 years old, and you're going 3 times what? There's no way this is a 3-year-old roof. And we've also gotten on roofs that are like, that's 20 years old, and we're like, wow, this thing looks pretty good. And so that is going to be the person that you're asking for. Like I said, the rest of it we'll leave with our program.
No, that's good stuff. But that alone, when you go in that tactic of asking who writes your policies,
Yep.
that gets you past the gatekeeper, that gets conversation started, and you're really leading with, I want to help you. It's your job to write policies. I want to help you do this in the best way possible and be a
Right.
resource for you. So we do have time for like maybe 3 or 4 questions. So
Yeah.
you guys, this is it. We won't have Randy and his team back for about a year. We do one of these trainings per month. So take the time now to ask. Just make sure you unmute yourself.
I just want to say real quick that,
Yeah.
like, I know for a fact that it works. Like today I closed 3 deals from an insurance company. And since the storm that we had here in Houston, I've been getting calls consistently from this one agency. I already talked to Randy in the past. I do want to join the program. Right now, I will need to hire more people. I had to go back in the field, you know what I mean? I'm doing a lot more inspections just because we're just getting bombarded,
It's a real problem, honestly. That
Yeah,
is the
it
biggest
is.
obstacle of this is I've had a couple of customers that are currently customers that told me early on, well, we only have like 3 guys. I'm like, well, part of this is you better be prepared to hire more because you're going to
Exactly,
get more
yeah.
calls and you need people to run these because part of the relationship is being expedient about making them feel
Exactly.
like they're the only person. I've literally had real estate agents where when I was in the field, they call and they're like, hey, I've got one over on, Ravenswood. I need you to take a look at. I'm like, send me the address. I'll go now. And they'll make comments like, wow, were you just waiting around for my call? I was like, no, my calendar is packed, but you're priority. And they love that attitude. And get out there right away. And I'll just unless it was like an adjusters meeting where I had to be there at a time, then I'll
Right.
tell them I have an adjusters meeting I'm on my way to, and then I'm headed over there right now. And they love the how much I'm prioritizing them. I've heard it all. I've heard on the forums, oh, real estate agents just waste my time and all that. Send them to me. Because what I mean by that
Yeah.
is, let's take it back to dating, right? You maybe pursue that girl or that guy. Did it happen on the first date? Like, no. So sometimes they're going to send you something and then you're going to get out there and go, nope, nothing wrong. And they're going to be like, thank you so much for, taking care of that. And then they do it
Right,
again
yeah.
and they do it again. And then after take those opportunities too, to learn something about them, to make a human being out of them, right? Let's don't make
Right.
it so transactional that they only look at you that way too. Share stuff. Like that's where relationships come from.
One thing with this one agency where we wasted a lot of time is they would call us and they'd be like, hey, if you guys are in this area, do you mind stopping by and checking how old you think this roof is? And I was like, okay. So we did a lot of that at the beginning and I
Right.
was hating it, man. Like I almost just gave up on it because I was like, man, I'm not getting anything out of this. But it did turn into something like very lucrative. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm 100% down to join your program because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Well, I was just going to reiterate that Luis is not part of our program right now. He's just
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But,
But
like-
that is great to hear, and it's expected. Like we know that your experience is legit because that's exactly what our
Right.
experience is.
Yeah, like I'm not in this program,
Yeah.
and I can vouch that what.
And I even encourage my local competitors because I know them personally. Like I reach out to them. We have great relationships. I opened up saying that they're not my competitor. My willingness to work harder than them is my competition. And I've told them, like, if you guys want to join the program, go ahead. But just know, I kind of locked down this area. Like by using this program, you're
Yeah.
going to go in and say that, and they're going to be like, yep, DT already does that for us. So it is a good chance. And I'll mark it like Houston, where it's such a large area. If you guys knew where I was, you would not believe that we pulled 6.5 million out of this joint last month. Like if you were, Dylan knows where Granbury, Texas is. And it's like, what? Like, you blink and you're running through the town, but we're squeezing every bit of opportunity out of the regions that the counties that we serve, which is 5. I don't go into the Metroplex. It's a metro mess. I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with the small town, where the old school way of shaking a man's hand and that meaning something, it means it. And so if you're in Houston market, or if you're in, a large Minnesota market or whatever, and this is how you look different from I hear guys say it all the time, man, there's 10,000 roofers. Well, good. This is how you stand out among the people that need your services. It is building that relationship. It's not just being the traditional roofer that shows up and hands chicken feed the business cards and brings some cookies. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So thank you for that feedback, Luis. And we do look forward to working with you in the future. In fact, the actual program is actually lowered in price because we were able to change some things about our technology, which allowed us to basically pass the savings to our customers. We weren't going to maintain that same pricing structure if we didn't have those costs associated. And so
Nice.
good timing for waiting.
I just need to either things to slow down a bit or get
Yeah.
but I'm
Okay,
done.
I do want to speak to that though, is I made a comment earlier that the reason why we kill it during storms isn't because of the storm, it's because of what we did before the storm got here. So keep that in your back of your mind that yes, of course you have to be able to breathe, but when you get any breathing room, start doing this, start getting a program in place, because then there will be a point. I remember my business partner making a comment back in 2016. He's like, during off season, and here it is, 2024. I haven't experienced this proverbial off season. Like, when does off season happen? Because we have been so busy since then, and it's using this type of approach. Who else had a question? Thank you, Luis.
Moses, go for it, man.
Right on. Well, I know it's going to be subjective, and it depends, on the area and the actual person implementing these systems. But how soon, historically, have you guys seen a return on that investment of investing in you guys' program and getting people up and running? And I guess that kind of just answers my question.
That's a great question. And it's a culmination of how quickly you actually get out and start meeting with these real estate agents, these insurance agents, these property managers, getting in front of them. But as soon as you do, you start getting the responses about like, yeah, we'll send a couple of your way. Then they experience it and then they go, well, here's a few more. We're not asking them to just send us a couple of little carrots. What are we asking? We're saying, make me part of your process. So the question is, are you going to every real estate office and saying, I would love to bring breakfast to you guys during your next meeting when you have 20 people in the room that are selling real estate, and pitch how we bring value? And then once everybody gets it and they understand, great. Everybody go to X website, it'll be partners. And then your company's website, and click on download a web app, and it'll save a shortcut on their phone with your company's logo. And every single time you need a roof inspection, you just simply click on that app and click on submit roof request or evaluation request. And they come directly to you. So if you're Moses, if you're the only guy in the room, then you can point everybody who's registering in your app to you in the list. Because what we do is when we onboard you, we get a name, we get the names of all of your salesmen, and then we make that part of the drop-down list. So when they're registering for the apps, let's say it's Cindy Smith with Keller Williams, and she already works with Moses. Well, then she's going to go in and she's going to download it. And then when it says choose your salesperson, it'll either say assign me a salesperson or she'll select Moses. From then on, every time she sends a request, it comes to you. It comes to you not only in the form of an alert, but also in an email, so that you can't miss it. And then you see it, you go in there, you do your report, and you submit it right back to her, right through the app. And then she receives the email with the PDF that has the link in it for the video, sees the report. She tells her homeowner, okay, I have my roofer out. He said everything's good. You know what's an amazing thing that happens? When you do the report prior to the home inspection report, guess what doesn't show up on the home inspection reports? Anything about the roof. Why? Because a home inspector isn't going to contradict what a professional already said. So if I have a report from a roofing company and I'm the selling agent and I give it to the buyer's agent orders the home inspection, they're generally going to give that to the home inspector. Home inspector looks it over and goes, well, this guy wouldn't have said that if there was anything wrong with the roof, because he doesn't make any money if there's anything wrong, if there's something wrong and he didn't charge for a repair or replacement. So they tend to just not find anything on the roof. So that puts you in a much better position to help the buyer make their decision, and you look like a hero to the seller and the buyer's agent. So I would turn it back around to you and just say, as quick as you can get out there and start. I mean, we provide you as part of our program with a list of all the realtors, insurance agents, and property managers in your area. Now you just go and start dialing for dollars to get on their schedule so you can get in front of them. And then you maintain that. And I talk about that in our training, but you maintain that. You're not just in front of them one time, one and done. Now it's okay. I'm doing maybe I met 20 of them and 3 of them are now calling me and I'm doing it. Then next month or maybe a month after, you ask for another meeting, and now you have people in the room that have experienced you, and so they're doing the head nodding and their colleagues see that, and then a few more start throwing their hat, and then next thing you know, you own that. Like, we own Keller Williams in our area, we own Elevate Realty in our area. Like, they all send their stuff to our guys because they've experienced exactly what we said we were going to do. And since Zillow's stats say that about 50% of the roofs need something done, that's where we're making our money, is either repair or replacement. And then we love telling the customer there's nothing wrong with your roof. Because it's a relationship that we're after. We're not after one and done. We're after a long term. So hopefully
Yeah,
that.
and for those and for those of you listening to this, we should have done this at the beginning, but the Limitless Roofing Group, there's about 270 roofing owners in our group, and we have buying power. Randy is a member of our group, Luis is a member, Gary's a member. We got multiple members on here, and we have a discount with roofingreferrals.com. So you can join our group. It's totally free to join. It's like Costco. That's why the logo on my t-shirt looks like a Costco
It
logo.
does look like Costco. I just
You
noticed that.
join, you save. It's that simple. It's totally free. I put the website in the chat. So that's the first step, is you need to join our group. That way we'll have you on record as a member. You're going to schedule an onboarding call with us. And then immediately you can let Randy know and Ryan know, hey, I'm a Limitless member. I'd love to secure that discount. This is going to be I can emphatically say this. This is going to be one of the best investments you make for your roofing company ever. The ROI is outrageous that you could spend less than $5,000 and probably have a referral strategy for the next 10 to 15 years that could make you millions and millions and millions of dollars. You're either going to compete with everybody else, or you're going to collaborate with other business people at a high level. And this type of collaboration is what can take you to 5 million, 10 million, 30 million a year in revenue. So I just want to challenge everybody on here to work with Randy, whether you join Limitless or not. But we've already got several members. You can join for free. And then
I will point out
I
that
want to be
before
sure
we,
you guys share your URL, your URL as well.
yeah, and I want to point out before we were a sponsor of Limitless through Roof and Referrals and Contractor Authority. I was a member, just as DT Roofing, wanted to be a member of Limitless because of the benefits of the buying power. I think I get the most out of it. What I get is when we have these gatherings, in person, be able to, pick people's brains and learn and learn and learn. There's a lot of good training that happens during those gatherings and stuff. So yes, there's a huge advantage to the discounts, but also just the mind dump that happens when you're in front of a bunch of like-minded people that are just like, not afraid to share their secrets, so yeah. Any other questions? Great questions so far, Luis and Moses. All right. Well, I'll remind everybody, it's just roofingreferrals.com/demo. If you want to see a full demonstration where you're able to ask unlimited questions in that demo, mention that you're a Limitless member if you decide to move forward, and there is a discount applied to your service. And for those of you going to RoofCon this year, I will be attending there. Actually, Ryan and I have a booth there, and we'll also be doing a breakout session at RoofCon. And look forward to meeting anyone in person that'll be there.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys, giving some nuggets out here. And again, we put the link. I think I put the right one in the chat, roofingreferrals.com/book demo. If that's not right, just go to roofingreferrals.com. But join Limitless for free. We're going to save you money on everything from general liability insurance to shingles to this right here. But this is going to make you some serious money. So I just thank you guys for sharing this stuff. Thank you, Randy. I know you guys are extremely busy. So thank you for taking time out to help the rest of us.
And I will add that as busy as I stay, I always have time. If we're not friends on Facebook, please reach out. Randy, Martin, Hurtado, and friend me, and I'd be glad to take any messages. Sometimes it's just, hey, what do you do with this? Or what do you do with that? I love pouring it into people. It's just, I get joy out of it. So I may not have the answer, but if I've dealt with whatever you're asking about and there's a solution that I've tried and worked, I'll share it with you. I mean, there's no reason why we need to be cutthroat in this industry. And we're all trying to do the same thing, provide for our families and grow our businesses. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. We're going to wrap up, everybody. For those of you who are members of Limitless, this will be recorded. And if you're a platinum level member, you can engage with Randy in our private chat and guys like Luis and Juan and Gary and other members that are on here, and just keep the conversation going. But Randy, thanks so much. Ryan, thanks so much.
Thank you. And Jenna, thanks for setting this up.
Of course, happy to do it.
All right, you guys have a blessed 4th, and let's celebrate America.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.